Welcome to Wellington's Y Zone, a podcast dedicated to curate weekly sports conversations, be a constant sports hub for content, interview game changers in the community and the world. Have a packed episode for you and a lot of topics to get into. The second half, I want to make a disclaimer. It is going to be an album review off of Drake's three new albums, Iceman, Habiti, Maid of Honor with Jamil Davis. A part of that ended prematurely, and I'm going to close it out with my own conclusion. Shout out to Jamil for being on for that review. It was a really good review. Got a lot into some in-depth analysis about those three new albums from Drake. So wanted to give that that disclaimer out before that is fully done, and just so you can guys can know what happened and why that was cut off. But I will be concluding that in a packed episode for you. So OKC, San Antonio, I want to start off with that. Game three, OKC is able to win on the road. A very, I would say, a very veteran, professional type of win. And what I mean by that is that OKC was very poised. They weren't rattled. 123 to 108. Shea had a really big game, 26 points, 12 assists, and they had a 15-point deficit even at one point. And I put a video up earlier today about why I feel as though experience is such a big deal for OKC. I really think it's one of the biggest things for them, having experience, being able to put together good wins, professional wins, and wins that are kind of descriptive of what a championship contender is. That's what OKC has. OKC has the wherewithal, the calmness, the presence, the calm, I should say, and the presence to be able to just, withstand any type of adversity. They're going to be able to respond after a loss like they did in this one. Jeremy Kane, he had 24 points. Jalen Williams added 18. The Thunder were without um, Jalen Williams sat out with a hamstring soreness. And here's my thing with OKC. The bench. They outscored San Antonio 76 to 23. 15 points by Caruso. I mean, like that's the part you have to pay attention to with this team is that they have more experience. And people are like, "Oh man, San Antonio, they got their number. It's a wrap." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. That's awesome. But show me who has more experience. Show me who has more depth. That is still OKC. I am still riding with the team that is the defending champs until they're dethroned. Like San Antonio is great. Talent out the gate. Wemby, a monster, out of this world. Castle with what he's doing. De'Aaron Fox had injury but is fighting through it. I'm still not gonna take them over the Thunder. It's gonna be a 7 game series. It's gonna be back and forth, but the Thunder's experience and their poise is what is going to take them over. So I have to give them credit for this win. It was very impressive to me how they were able to just really uh just weather the storm in a very professional way and just do what they needed to do. So, Fox had the sprained right ankle. I think that part was something that I'm definitely you definitely have to keep an eye on with Fox because that's a big blow. That's a big blow. You're gonna need a guy like De'Aaron Fox around. You're gonna need his presence. He's gotta be there. And you know, the Spurs, the 15-0 lead that they had, them racing to it, I think it had a lot of people feeling as though, man, like, what's gonna happen? Is this gonna be a Spurs easy win? But I would say that OKC battled back. They had a lot of just had a lot of like moxie. It was a very like it was a game filled with a lot of moxie from them. And I think going forward for game four, that's going to be a rock fight. Game fours are always just like one of the most competitive games because I think each team knows what's on the line. They know what's present, what's coming, and the fact that you don't want to go down 3-1. You don't have to deal with that type of deficit. So It's going to be a barn burner. It's definitely going to be a barn burner, and I think San Antonio put themselves OKC put themselves in a position where you got to steal one on the road. They were able to do that, up 2-1 now, and definitely in a good spot. So game four is going to be it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle for sure. Knicks Cavs tonight. The Knicks, they are within one game of the NBA Finals. Within one, ladies and gentlemen. 121 to 108 win over Cleveland. Um, on the road. Jalen Brunson had 30, Mikal Bridges had 22. The Knicks moved within one game of their first finals appearance since 99. Um, and look, Jalen Brunson was electric. He just was. OG Anunoby added 21 as well. Like this is what I like to see from this team is the fact that they they have such a full arsenal of weapons and scorers and defenders that I really think, man, they're ready. They're ready for that finals berth and that finals appearance. And I think it's going to be very exciting to see them in the NBA Finals. Um, albeit a collapse that would be the most heartbreaking collapse of all time if they blew a 3-0 lead, but I don't see that happening. And the Knicks, they can wrap this up with the win on Monday night. I think they would like to get as much rest as possible before the finals. And I definitely think with how this OKC San Antonio series is going to play out, it's going to be a longer series. So it would be in their best interests, to get this series wrapped up, do what they got to do. And yeah, just like get ready for the finals. Get ready to kick back, see who's going to win this series in OKC and San Antonio, and do your best to be able to put yourself in a position where you are you're fresh, you're rested, and you're ready to go for a championship type of series. So the Knicks, they made their first four shots en route to a 9-1 lead less than 2 minutes into the game. New York was 12 of 17 from the field and it was up 37 to 27 after 12 minutes. And yeah, like Brunson, 6 of 12 during an 8-1 run midway through third quarter. Knicks extended their lead 83 to 70 with 341 remaining. I love what I'm seeing from the Knicks. Go Knicks, go. I mean, look, I'm not a Knicks fan. I'm just saying that's what y'all say. Go Knicks, go. Y'all it's gonna be a packed Madison Square Garden if they make it to the finals, and this might actually be their year. So, it is inching closer to a finals appearance for the Knicks, and with the Cavs, I just have to say this: game one, game one. It's almost like how the Pacers and Celtics was when the Pacers they kind of blew their game one. Um, I think it was 2020, 2024. It has to have been 2024. And it just seemed as though like that was their shot. That was the moment. And then the Celtics were able to sweep that series. But yeah, I really think that game one was like a huge detriment to Cleveland. Um when you blew that shot and you had that chance to be able to make it a series and start it off with a win, you know, on the road. When you didn't do that, that was a closed door. That was a closed door because then the Knicks they got life. They can come back for a game two and then, it's gravy. 2-0 lead and now we're rolling. So I definitely think that is something that was just a huge blow to them. And it's one they're going to look back at, especially now, you're down 3-0. So it's hindsight is 2020, but for a situation like that, it's there we go. The proof is in the pudding. Game one, that was the one that they definitely should have won and should have had a better start off to the series. Last thing I want to say before we go to break into the album reviews is LeBron's free agency is something that is going to be mentioned a lot in the upcoming months. And I even heard LeBron talk about it during the Mind the Game podcast with Steve Nash about just like, hey, like I'm not sure, I don't know. It's just so many things to process. LeBron has he probably knows what his decision is going to be. Probably does. He plays chess. Um, he plays chess. He thinks things throughout. He's very strategic. Um, he's going to go through all the scenarios, all the possibilities, and I think he goes to the East. I think he goes to the East. Um, whether it be Cleveland, whether it be New York. I think Golden State is also a possibility. I would say Cleveland, the Knicks, and Golden State are my three teams I would say he would go to. But I don't see him closing it out with the Lakers. I just don't. I think the Lakers were a team that went to for business reasons, went to grow to expand his brand for sure. Um, but it wasn't it never seemed like the move, like the permanent, like this is where I'm going to retire. This is where I'm going to plant my flag to close out my career. It never seemed that way. So I do think that LeBron will be leaving the Lakers this offseason, and it's going to be either two teams in the East as a possibility or a team in the West with Golden State, which would be kind of like the old bandits, LeBron, Steph, Draymond. That would be really interesting to see. So yeah, that those are my thoughts on that and the Eastern Conference Finals and West Conference Finals. And that wraps it up for this part of the podcast. And we'll be right back with our album reviews with Jamil Davis.